Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another breakfast chat, and today is more bison, rice, a little bit of egg white in here for extra protein, cranberry juice. And when I get through all the bison I have, which is a lot still, I might actually switch over to lean ground beef just because it'll be more convenient for me to increase my protein that way. Slightly more cost effective. Just like everyone else, I mean, I'm on a budget. I try to keep my grocery bill at a maximum of about $500 a month. So there's a certain point of where I want more protein and I don't want to do stuff like chicken that I don't like. It's just more cost effective to use like really lean ground beef. So I might do that coming up for a bit. But let's talk a little bit about why I'm using mostly 20 rep sets, and the answer itself is a little nuanced. It's something that people are noticing in the training vlogs, but I felt like it's worthy of its own video and breakfast chat. Because historically I used to promote a lot of low reps, but then for the last few years I haven't been. While I've been doing the conjugate stuff, I've done a lot more 10s and even 20s, and I've done phases where I do 3s and 5s for my non-max work, and quite frankly I find that just beats me up. It beats me up, makes my body hurt, and I find higher reps are easier to recover from. And I kind of had a train of thought with all of it, and I decided to experiment with it more. As number one, I want to be able to just do more training volume for hypertrophy purposes, because realistically, to reach my goals, which also means I'll have to trim body fat down, so it's going to be body composition in general, I need to put on probably another 10 pounds of muscle to reach my goals, to reach my lifetime goals, maybe even a hair over that. So in order to do that, to reach the strength levels I do need a bit more training volume overall, but I need to be able to recover from it. And one of the things that I noted, not just with myself, but with my clients, was when you get my good mornings up above 500 pounds, there was a lot of really high rep work involved. And I noticed when I go back my notes of how I felt and how things progressed, when I did a lot of very high rep good mornings, reverse hypers, glute ham raises, we're talking 20 reps or more, what happened? My strength skyrocketed on everything posterior chain related. And I got my good mornings up past 500, right? And even now I'm up to a 545 on the cambered bar on the good morning. And what did that do to my squats? That let me get my back squat with the cambered bar to 600 plus. I got 600 and then 601. And then bands and chains have gone over 600, but it's not quite the same because it's accommodating resistance. So I realized looking at that, you know what? That worked really, really well. And we know the research is showing that the 20 reps can just as easily build as much muscle as lower reps. Data's getting pretty good on that at this point. But the other thing that I had to think about is how I'm spacing out my stuff, because I do 1 rep maxes, well, training maxes. Sometimes they're a true max, usually they're not. But I'm doing training maxes every workout. And what's one of the things that we get from lower reps? Well, we get better strength from them, whereas in hypertrophy tends to be equal when volume and stuff is equated. But when the reps are higher, people recover easier. They feel better the next day. They're grueling while you do them. And I can tell you, as I'm doing 20 rep squats, they're not fun. As I'm doing 20 rep squats twice a week. But the thing that I realized is, as long as you're doing training maxes and enough of them, you don't get strength benefits from the lower reps. You really don't. There's very little in the way of that. And what they do is they just beat you up. Furthermore, I realized that all the high rep work, and this is something I do with a lot of my listers, especially early on, we do a lot of high rep good mornings and band pull throughs and things to build up the connective tissue of their low back. And again, it's very, very effective. Well, that's one of the things that I realized is that my low back had started getting bulletproof. Okay. Same thing from all that high rep stuff hitting my hamstring. My hamstrings do not pull. They don't pull at all anymore. You guys have seen me pull a hamstring before on camera where the back of my leg is turned black. It didn't require a surgery or anything. I deadlifted again 10 days later. But I have pulled hamstrings in the past. I don't have any of those problems anymore. And I think a lot of it has to do with the higher reps. And we have a lot of data on that showing that higher reps tend to build connective tissue and tendons better. Also, again, gets your conditioning up. So the more I did it, I went over to doing it for legs, getting good results. And then I realized, you know what? A lot of my issues on bench press are pec tendons, right? My pec tendons tend to be weak. And I think because they get inflamed, they hurt really easily. Benching hurts. Benching has always hurt me every time I've done it. People say, well, just go light. No, benching hurts with lightweight too. Like 135 or more is always been painful for me. Even when I'm benching 350, it still hurts to do 135. And it's right there in my pec tendons and stuff. So I've come to realize maybe I need to be applying all of this to my upper body too. Maybe I need to be applying it to my upper body too. And so that's the direction, again, I've gone because I've got really good results in certain areas doing it for long periods of time. Got tremendous results. I think I need to apply it to everything for a while. And I'm not worried about not gaining strength. Why? Because hypertrophy equals our strength potential, and then doing heavy lifts is how we actualize that potential. Actually practicing heavy singles and 1 rep max lifts. Well, I hit up to 8 heavy singles every week. Well, I mean, 8 different lifts, right? 8 different lifts, because some of those ramp ups have multiple singles. So I'm doing 8 different exercises for training maxes every week, 2 at the start of each workout. So I'm not losing any of that. It's all there. And we should be able to continue to PR. And I decided, again, this will be better for my overall goals. It's very easy on recovery. And with the sort of training loads I'm using recovery, my whole lifestyle is geared around recovery. I mean, I'm going to go back to bed after eating this, after putting this video up and everything. I'm going to go back to bed, sleep further, get up and train. That's how my mornings go on training days. And I've also become very obsessed with connective tissue. That's why I make sure my diet is on point for high collagen synthesis. I take a collagen supplement. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, put whatever it takes to put into my body to build connective tissue. And my training needs to facilitate that. My training needs to facilitate that. So that's the reason I'm doing it. And it's just easy to recover from. It doesn't beat you up. 20 rep squats and 20 rep benching and good mornings and everything, they're very grueling while you're doing them. They're not fun at all, but they also don't destroy you. You feel fine later. You're not really as sore the next day. You don't hurt the same way from the higher reps, even when they're programmed to be limit sets. And then we have the conditioning component. If I'm doing all the high rep stuff, I can cut out the GPP, which I had done a while back. As I started adding more and more reps for lower body, then I can take my cardio over to what? Just list cardio. People say, well, why is list cardio? List cardio is not good for fat loss. I've covered that in the past. I'm not a fan of it. But for overall recovery and health, it's great. It puts very little strain on the body, lets you burn through some calories, increases your endurance, and I find it helps with recovery more and more and more. In fact, even when doing the high rep squats, list cardio afterwards causes very, very rapid recovery, or at least enhanced recovery for me. So now my training is then set into these different modalities. It's now based around strength endurance, for all the 20s, strength endurance, hypertrophy, connective tissue, conditioning. Right? Then I have all the heavy work, which is done first, which comprises, maybe 10% of my training. Right, 10% of my total work is heavy singles every week. The other 90% is really high reps. And then on top of that, I do list cardio every day for at least an hour to just help, again, with recovery. So what I'm basically doing is focusing on connective tissue health, building tendons, building structure, focusing on recovery. So I'm turning myself into a recovery machine. And that's going to be the key for me to get to where I need to get to reach my goals, because I am talking very seriously about getting to a 700-pound squat, 700-pound deadlift. They're not going to happen this year, but that is the goal. And I feel confident that I can do that. If I can gain enough muscle, if I can get my tendons strong enough, I think those are going to be very doable. And then if I finally apply all these things I've been doing to the upper body and my chest and triceps and everything, which has been very successful on posterior chain for me, we might see my weak-ass bench come up more too, right? And that's the idea. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, guys. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.